Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to the Trick Ups. Yo, go through this beautiful Sunday, yay. Best day of my life. Every day is the best day of my life. Especially Sundays. I love Sundays. Playing music and leading worship and pastoring and all the things that are so beautiful about church, the kingdom of God. Realizing how much I've always loved church. And wanted to talk about my music and pastoral career, how I got to where I am, what are some of my goals, what are some of the disappointments. And I got inspired by my brother here. I want to give a shout out to Chris Reed Beats, who I'm listening to right now. His live stream was yesterday, so check him out. He also loves Reason and went to Cal State Long Beach, where I went to school. I don't know if he lives in the area, so I'd love to maybe play together, my brother. So what's up? Let's see. What's up, little sausage? Yes, that's right. What the heck? Yes, sir. What is up? So, yes, Eat Sunday. Welcome. Yes. So, talking about, yes, how I got to this place of winning 10 Grammys and having $1 million in the bank cash. How many Grammys, right? But no, just joking, obviously. But the kind of what is exactly success in the music and in the pastoral world, especially in music, I guess. Some of the people that I listen to and maybe that follow me or that know me, obviously, also love music. And I have many friends that they're doing their own thing with music, and then I've done my own thing with music as well, and with ministry with church. So playing the piano here a little bit. By the way, I've been enjoying learning some more R&B chords the last few weeks. I mean, I've been working at it for a long time, but learning some seventh chords and ninth chords and 13ths, and I was learning on the piano. I know all these chords on the guitar, but learning D minor diminished, or just D diminished. So very fun. Do you song request to listen to? Do you song request to listen to? Do you mean if I'm not sure what that means. Do you song request? Yes, I don't know what that means. If I take requests to play them on the piano, if I listen to your beat, so you can send me all of your stuff to my email, trig@davidtrig.com, and I would love to listen to it and see what you got. Yes, trig@davidtrig.com, trig@davidtrig.com. There we go. But yes, so I got into music when I was really born. I would say my father was a musician, a beautiful singer, and a man of God. He was a nonprofit director. Why can't I type in the name here? Are you talking about that I'm going to play it for you? I'm not sure exactly what that means. Do you song requests to listen to? You mean that I'm going to play something for you? Not sure. But you can just email me the song. Yeah, if I'm going to listen to your beat, just email it to me so I can then check it out and we can go from there. We can do definitely at some point a live beat, what do you call that? A beat reviews, and check out people's beats. That would be fun. Definitely. Yeah, email it to me and I can check it out. So when I was a little boy, I began to listen to my father sing, and so I would say my number one passion, gifting, is singing. And I write songs as well, and of course play all the instruments and produce and lead. I'm also a pastor, a man of God, a religious leader, and that also came early in my life as a young man. Maybe when I was 8 or 9, I began to, a little boy, I began to see my father singing in church, and of course, all that went with church. And just, I was just in love with everything about it. People coming together, singing to Jesus, the whole faith aspect of what it really means to go to church and to be a Christian, and just really the innocence of learning and feeling so happy to be with my father and my mom and my family, going to church, singing songs. Just, I was just, and I still am, just in love with the experience of coming together, and of feeling so happy that a God who, of course, I can't see and we can't see him, loves me and is with me. Email has my name. Okay, well, yeah, that is the issue with emails, isn't it? So, yeah, that's how it began with, I guess, with music. So really, both things have always been intertwined. Both things have always been really the same to me. Now, it's ironic because I also, where we belong. Okay, great. Awesome, awesomeness. Okay, great. I'll check it out for sure. Yeah, I assume it's on Spotify or YouTube, etc. I'll definitely check it out. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you for the contribution to the stream. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. So, yeah, tell me what kind of style it is. I'll check it out, okay, and listen to it. I'm sure it's awesome. I assume you make beats and produce, so thank you for being here. But yeah, so going back to a little bit of my music career, my music history. So yes, the love for music and faith has always been intertwined. My dad is a bass player in a band with my uncle. We're listening to 80s rock music. Yeah, exactly. Beautiful. Yep. Nothing like having our fathers, be an example and a mentor. That's beautiful. Yeah, as I was saying, that's exactly how, just like for Eat Here, that's how you're going to progress. I remember I had a friend, he's a Berkeley grad, he's just an awesome guy, bass player, etc. Shout out to Dana. And we were in a vocal rehearsal one day, and he was saying, "David, why are you so natural at singing?" And I said, well, because my father was a singer, and he then turned around to the class. It wasn't a class, it was a rehearsal. And he said, "See, kids," because everyone else was in their early 20s. He said, that's how you become natural, is you have someone who taught you. It's in your blood, it's in your genes, it's something that you grew up around. It doesn't have to be that way, obviously, but that's one of the advantages that I had. And my kids now have the same thing. And so that's beautiful to have those mentors early in life. And the beauty of having an early start with music is that, like anything, whether it's basketball or art or something like being a teacher or something, is that you learn a lot about it, because from the beginning you love it, you see what it's like, you learn. Plus, when your mind is young and fresh, you can pick up a lot of things much faster. And so I picked up the guitar and singing and piano and drums and bass and everything and all the stuff really fast. And I had amazing mentors besides my father. I had friends at church that played professionally, even though they were also kids. I was maybe 10, they were like 13, just a few years older. But they were already playing professionally. They eventually went on to become doctors of music. And so it's kind of like one of those Beatles stories, or U2, that these amazing individuals and musicians that just happen to go to the same school. And so we all became friends really fast, and we never played in a band, but we all sang in church and played with our parents. And I don't think they had a family. I think one of their parents, or their dad, became a pastor of that church. And so I quickly began to play and sing in church, and that really has been the main place. I've played in all kinds of places since then, but my real passion, my real love, what we call your purpose in life, or what we call your calling, my purpose is to sing in the church. And then, of course, I sing and I produce and I do Christian hip hop and all kinds of stuff, make beats and know all these other things about production. But how I make my living and my life is as a lot of things, but mostly as a minister of the gospel of Jesus Christ. And not just with music, but also preaching and teaching and helping people know what the Bible says, helping people learning more about who God is through the Christian faith, helping them if they have questions or concerns, or if they have issues of marriage issues, or young people who deal with loneliness or anxiety, or maybe they have broken families, just to bring healing to their lives, to really help people where they're at. And I'm not a debater of faith. Now everything's a debate and a fight and who's right and who's wrong, and the internet had become this place to fight or to troll. That's really never been my calling, to fight or to defend, but to help people who are in crisis and who are in need, even if they're not in crisis, just people that want to find peace. I mean, obviously, right? Who doesn't want peace? So it's too bad that everything online has been either how to make money or how to be famous, or all these things that are just so toxic. And obviously, you need money. You need to be. We all want to be known and seen, I guess, or make an impact. But all this stuff about fame and all that stuff has become so just overdone. Now, if God calls you to that and you're a great famous athlete or musician or actor, then obviously yes. But I think that just living a normal life where you can provide for your family, for yourself, and live a healthy and peaceful life and serve others is really the meaning of life and the purpose of life, especially as a pastor, as a minister, as a follower of Jesus, as a man of God. But regardless of faith or religion or not, everyone, we all want to love and help people and serve and do well in life and find our purpose and serve other people and do what we love. So yeah, early in life, what I loved was always music and church. And so ironically, I studied to be I'm an engineer by trade, meaning my undergrad, I have two degrees, from college, from Cal State Long Beach, one in computer science, so pretty crazy and challenging major, computer science, everything dealing with coding, software, and then computer engineering. So I have a double major, both in writing code, C++, and BASIC, and Fortran, back in the day, Ada, and eventually HTML and Python, all these things that are based on C++. And then also the hardware, the computer engineering part, I learned all about building motherboards and how to use resistors and capacitors and LEDs, and how to put together a logic board. We used to call them motherboards, but now they're called logic boards. And so all the stuff that you know about computers, of having a fast computer, M1, M2, or all that Elon Musk is doing with SpaceX, and all that you see with Facebook and Instagram and Twitch and all these things, it's all based on coding. The internet, the whole thing of the internet is based on software. And so these are degrees where people make $100, $200, $300,000. I don't make that kind of money because I'm not an engineer in my career. I'm a pastor and a musician and a worship pastor and a lead pastor. And so I'm poor, but I am very thankful. And I'm not poor, it's just meaning compared to those other careers. But my heart is, most of all, doing what I love to do. My heart is filled with the joy of God, the joy of the Lord, because I'm doing what I love to do. And so I went to school. I never thought about going to school to do music. It was never something that I even knew was a career. I never wanted to be a musician, quote, out in the world, like Grammys and stuff. I always wanted to just play for Jesus, play in the church, sing worship songs, and teach the Bible and help people. And so when I was at City College, I began to play in Bible studies, and God began to bless me. People would say, wow, you sound amazing, and you can do this, you can lead, you're a great leader, and you can speak up there, you're not shy, and you can sing so well, and you can play all the instruments. And so I built a band, and we began to lead worship. You know, where kids in those days, or now I guess, would make a band and want to make it. For me, I made a band to play in church. So that was really my love and my passion, is to build a ministry from worship music and teaching the Bible to students my age at Long Beach State. Eventually, I transferred there and I led a Bible study, and it grew to 100 people, 200 people. It just blew up. And I would sing and I would play the guitar and I would share with the students. And we had an official pastor who would do his Bible studies, who was amazing. And I would meet with him and with our team, and we would plan all kinds of stuff to help young people know more about who Jesus is. And that began for me really my love for ministry, what we call ministry, meaning to serve in the church as a clergy, as a religious leader, as a minister, and not a priest as in the Catholic faith, but as a pastor, as we call it in the Protestant church. And so when I was early in my 20s, I was hired at a church as a worship pastor, not just as a musician, but as a worship pastor, which basically means that they saw that calling in me, that purpose to serve the church, to minister, to love people, to teach the Bible through the church, in the church. And so I went to seminary and went to 2 seminaries, actually 3, but mostly to 2. And some of the best times of my life going to Biola, Talbot Seminary, then going to Fuller, and then I finished at Trinity Seminary. And so it was a beautiful experience of learning so much about God's Word and about theology and about the background of stories. And so when I teach now, I lead worship, I can use those skills to help people understand what the Bible says and the stories in the Bible, whether it's David and Goliath or Noah's Ark or the virgin birth, or now that we're in the Easter season, the resurrection of Jesus, and all of these beautiful stories. And so I love it. And so I've been a senior pastor, meaning the lead pastor of multiple churches. I loved it. And right now I'm back doing worship and teaching some, but I hope to go back to whether being a lead pastor or not, I'm not sure, maybe, but definitely to teach the Bible always. So, and I love music. Music has always been my thing. I went to school when I was at City College. I actually went back to City College to pick up 2 years of music education, just to really refine my theory and skills and reading and playing the piano and just techniques on singing and music, which really helped me a lot when I was maybe in my early 20s. And learn to play the piano, read music, all these things. I'm not a jazz piano player, but I am proficient in all the instruments, and write songs. I've been writing songs since I was maybe 19 or 20. And as I said, God has blessed me to have a life that I've built through my career in music and in ministry. And that sounds weird. It's not a career. That's why I call this title or this thing a ministry. The music perhaps is a career, but church is not a career. Sure, I mean, you do work there and it is a whole thing, but it's a calling. It's a purpose in your life that you feel to love people and to serve people, regardless of pay or success or how big your church is or all that stuff, what kind of car you drive and all that. I mean, none of that matters, because you're serving God, not yourself. And so now some of the regrets, I guess, that I have is, I don't know if I have any regrets, really. In many ways, I'm doing exactly what I want to do, what I've always loved to do. Do I wish I'd had a church of 3,000 people? I mean, I think when I become egotistical, when I get into my ego and I lose perspective, yes, it happens with these streams. So I wish I was, I don't know, Casey Neistat or Joe Rogan, of course, but that's again when I get into my head and I become very egotistical and I lose sight of impact. Impact can happen, whatever it is, to one person, to a million. And as I said at the beginning, sometimes we get in trouble with numbers because of the internet and because of, I mean, and not that numbers aren't important. You don't want to be making less money each month, right? You don't want to be spending more money. You want to be making more money and spending less and have more money saved, right? It's normal. We all want more. But I think that to want fame and riches can be very dangerous. unless God allows that. But to pursue that and then to get down, things that I've done, things that have happened to me, things that at times I still struggle with. I think when you get in that headspace, that can be pretty sad, because you lose perspective of who you really are and the beauty that it is to just be you and to be used by God in the things that you love to do. In my case, preaching, teaching the Bible, loving people, and as I said, music ministry, as we call it. And I don't consider myself a music minister alone. I consider myself a pastor and a minister of the good news that does music, that does teaching and preaching, that does all these things. Those are the, I guess, the tools of the trade. But my real calling in life since I was, as I said, 9, is to be a pastor and a minister of the good news of Jesus Christ. So you might be thinking of, okay, how do I figure out what I'm supposed to do with my life? And now, of course, we have so much of this internet fame and Instagram models and get rich quick and crypto this and all that, that we've lost sight of, I guess, normal living, being a construction worker, a teacher, being a nurse, being a pastor, being a police officer, being an entrepreneur, of course, being into the music business, of course, not just as a famous Grammy-winning artist, but you can be a songwriter, you can be a video maker, you can be a podcaster, and you're going to have to probably work a 9 to 5 on the side while you see your business grow, because there's so many people doing it and so many opportunities at the same time. And so you have to kind of find your way. And by the grace of God, as I said, I think that God can help you. Well, I know that He can help you, and you can do anything if you work hard and if you believe in God and you commit your ways to Jesus, to God, to the Lord. So, well, I think that's pretty much it. That's all I had to say. And if you have any questions about kind of what you're doing and what your career path looks like in music and creative things or whatever it is, then I'd love to talk and be a sounding board to you, just a counsel, just to be a mentor, advisor in your life. Whether you are young in your teens, 20s, 30s, or you're older, no matter where you're at, I'd love to share what I know from not only the Bible, but also from life in terms of, like I said, career and relationships and purpose, all the things that really matter. Together with my wife and I, we've been married almost 30 years. I'm only 42, so I got married. No, I'm just kidding. And we have 3 adult kids that are all incredibly gifted and graduated from college and doing really well in their lives. They love Jesus. They go to church. They serve God. They're not perfect. I'm not saying that perfection is the goal, but they definitely love to honor God and to do the right thing every day in their lives. So thanks again for being here. Email me at triggerdavidtrey.com. The email, I believe, is on the chat here somewhere. Thanks again for being here, and I'll see you next time. Adios.